Okay, so we start off with an ablative absolute here. We have our main verb is patu werunt. Okay, how do you know that this verb is a complementary infinitive?
Because patu werunt takes complementary.
Yeah, you need something that completes the action of the main verb. Okay, look at this due to use over here. Okay, this is a comparative adverb. So one of the things that they might ask you on the AP test is, they give you this word in the passage and say, what is the best translation of this word? Okay, so you have to decide whether it's adjective or adverb, right? Here, I'll do it this way. I'll do adjectives over here. Okay. Now, you remember that there are 3 degrees of adjectives, right? And 3 degrees of adverbs. Okay, so you got like positive, comparative, and superlative. Okay, same deal for the adverbs. Positive, comparative, superlative. Okay, so positive adjectives are like us, or is, e. Okay, comparatives are I, o, r if it's masculine or feminine, and some third declension endings, or I, u, s. Okay, and then the superlative is that isamus, aramus, limus one. Okay, so this is E-I-T-E-R for the positive adverb. Okay, the only thing that a comparative adverb can be is I-U-S. Okay, and then this is isame, oh no. Anyway, isame, arame, lime. Oh, look, I got it back. Arame. Okay, so here's the deal. So when you see something like this down here on this duteous, look around it, okay, and see if there's anything that, like, could be neuter, accusative, whatever.
Do you decline comparative adjectives?
Yes, they decline like the third declension.
So
it's not I-O-R and then go on.
It's a neuter nominative.
Yes, you need something that was a neuter nominative or a neuter accusative. Okay, which you don't really have here. Okay? So that's how you know it's an adverb. That was the long explanation of how you know it's an adverb. Okay. Okay, so let's mark up the rest of this deal here. So then we got where te runt and then an accusative here. Okay. So we got with the battle having been begun, the enemies were not able to endure the attack of our soldiers any longer. And they turned their backs. Okay, so remember how yesterday we talked about that one of the things in this passage was the view of non-Romans, views of non-Romans, the Romans' views of non-Romans? Okay, so what is Caesar saying here? They're cowardly, right? They were cowardly and they're weak. They weren't able to withstand the attack. And then they ran away like cowards. Okay, does that make them seem like a worthy enemy? Yeah, it's something the Romans really don't like. So they be like, you should disrespect these people even more because we don't like them. But at the same time, it also shows like how great the Romans were. We were so great. We were so strong that we just wore them down and they couldn't withstand the attack, so they got scared and ran away. So it kind of runs both ways. Okay. Let's see what happens next. Okay, so this is accusative. Okay, and it's talking about the British guys. Okay, and then this Sakuti is talking about the Romans. I think the hardest thing here is figuring out who goes with what. Do y'all have the trouble with that?
Yeah. I'm trouble with everything.
Like there's a bunch of words in the same case. Ablative or accusative, how many of those words go together?
Yeah, go together. Okay, so let's do this part. So you could put like the Romans in parentheses. That's what I would do. The Romans having pursued them. Okay, and then put in parentheses the British. Okay, so then this it says this tanto goes with this tanto spatio goes with a quantum. Okay, and it's an ablative of degree of difference. Kind of like we talked last week about Paolo, like a little space. So this is by as great a space as they were able to manage by running and forces, I guess it'd be forces. Okay, don't get tripped up here thinking that this is weird. Okay? It's Weiss. How do I know it's Weiss and not weird? How do I know?
Does weird take second?
Uh-huh. If it was men, it'd be Weiris. Okay, but since it has that third declension ending, Weiribus. That's how you know it's force. Does that make sense? Okay. They, I think it's meaning the Romans. So they killed several from them. Okay, then we got like a ablative absolute here. So then, with all of their buildings having been burned far and wide, okay, and then that saber Kipperin is an idiom for they retreated into their camps. Okay? So the Romans like pretty much took a scorched earth policy to the British here. Okay, so then we got on the same day,